Hello guys, welcome back to my another After Effects tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to see how to create clean dynamic slideshow in After Effects. So without any wait, let's see the preview. For this slideshow demonstration, I am going to use 4 videos, which I have downloaded from Pixabay. First, I will import the media files. Perfect. For this slideshow, I will create 4 different slides, for 4 different media files. So let's start with creating the first slide. Create a new composition. Name it as Slide 1. Make sure width and height is set to 1920 by 1080 pixels. Frame rate is set to 30 frames per second. For first slide, we will set the time duration to 3 seconds. Now let's create a new shape layer. Perfect. Here we need to select the shape tool, that is rectangle tool. Make sure fill is set to solid color. Stroke is set to none. Now you need to create shapes as shown. These shapes will be used to create glass effect for our slideshow. Here we need to change the fill color for rectangle. Here these rectangles are away from each other, so we don't need to change the fill color. Now we will pre-compose this shape layer, name it as Transition 1. Let's add the media file to timeline. Pre-compose the media file. Name it as Media 1. Now let's create a new adjustment layer. For adjustment layer, in Effects and Preset, search for Displacement Map. Add it to the adjustment layer. For the displacement map, change map layer to Transition 1. Make sure you are at start of the timeline. Now create a keyframe for max horizontal displacement. Change displacement value to 80. At 20 frames. Change displacement value to 40. Add 1 second and 20 frames. Change displacement value to 0. You can press U to view created keyframes. Now at 2 seconds and 10 frames, create keyframe for vertical displacement, change displacement to 0. At end of the timeline, change displacement value to -80. Now select all created keyframes. Change Keyframe Assistant to Easy Ease. Here we need to eliminate this blank space created. For adjustment layer, in Effects and Preset, search for CC Lens. Add it to the adjustment layer. Let's adjust the size to near about 220. Let's see the preview. Perfect. At end you can see this black space is still visible. To hide this you need to slightly scale the media composition. Perfect. Now let's add the text. Here I am using Unisan font family. Here you are free to adjust the font size and spacing between the text layer. Let's align the text to the center. Now we will animate our text. First we will add shadow effect to our text. In layer style, select drop shadow. In drop shadow, you can adjust the shadow opacity. You can slightly adjust the shadow distance. Adjust the size. Perfect. For text layer, in animate, select tracking. At start of the timeline, create keyframe for tracking amount. Change tracking value to 30. At 20 frames. Change tracking value to 20. Now at 1 second and 20 frames. Change tracking value to 0. At 2 second. Change tracking value to 2. At the end of the timeline. Change tracking value to 10. Select created keyframe. Change keyframe assistant to easy ease. You can see the preview. Perfect. Let's recompose the text. Name it as text 1. Here our first slide is created. Similarly, we need to create 3 more slides. Each slide will be slightly different from one another. Let's create our second slide. Press Ctrl+N to create a new composition. Name it as slide 2. Here we will set time duration to 2 seconds. Create a new shape layer. Create rectangles as shown. For this transition, we will create different shapes. Perfect. Change fill color. Let's recompose it. Name it as transition 2. Add video 2 file to timeline. Recompose it, name it as media 2. Now create a new adjustment layer. In effects and preset, search for displacement map. Add it to adjustment layer. Change map layer to transition 2. Change max horizontal displacement value to 0. Create a keyframe for vertical displacement. Change displacement value to -80. Now at 1 second. Change displacement value to 0. Press U to view created keyframe. Select keyframes, change keyframe assistant to easy ease. For adjustment layer, in effects and preset, search for CC lens. Add it to adjustment layer. Change size to 220. Perfect. Slightly scale the media composition if needed. Now let's add the text. Align it to center. Here you can increase the font size if needed. Align it to the center. For text layer, in animate, select tracking. For animator 1, let's add property, position. Now at end of the timeline, create a keyframe for position. Now at start of the timeline, change position value for y-axis as shown. In advance, change randomize order to on. Set start value to 50%. Here you can also adjust the random seed value. You can also adjust the position of keyframe if you want animation to be fast. Select keyframes, change keyframe assistant to easy ease. You can see the preview. Here you can see we have not added the shadow effect for our text. You can add the shadow effect, just like we have added to first text layer. Or pre-compose the text layer. In Effects and Preset, search for Drop Shadow. Add it to text composition. For Drop Shadow, here you can adjust the opacity, shadow color, distance of shadow, and direction. Perfect, slide 2 is created. Similarly, we will create 2 more slides. Press Ctrl+N to create a new composition. Name it as slide 3. Create a new shape layer. Create rectangle shapes. Change fill color. Pre-compose it. Name it as transition. Add video 3 media file to timeline. Pre-compose it. Name it as media. Now create a new adjustment layer. In Effects and Preset, search for Displacement Map. Add it to the adjustment layer. Change Map Layer to Transition 3. At start of the timeline, create keyframe for max horizontal displacement. Change displacement value to -80. At 25 frames, change it to 0. At 1 second, create keyframe for vertical displacement, change displacement to 0. At end of the timeline, change displacement to 30. Press U to view keyframes. Change keyframe assistant to easy ease. In Effects and Preset, search for CC lengths. Add it to adjustment layer. Set size to 220. Now let's add the text. Here you are free to adjust the font size and spacing between the text layer. For text layer, in Animate, select Tracking. Now add Position. At 25 frames, create keyframe for position. Now at start of the timeline, change position value for y-axis as shown. Adjust start value, set it to 50%. Slightly adjust the offset value. In advance, change randomize order to on. You can adjust the random seed value. Select position keyframes, change keyframe assistant to easy ease. Let's recompose the text layer. Name it as text 3. For text composition, in effects and preset, search for drop shadow. Add drop shadow. Set distance to 10. Opacity to 80%. You can see the preview. Here our slide 3 is created. Now let's create slide 4. Press Ctrl plus N to create new composition. Name it as slide 4. Here I will set time duration for this composition to 3 seconds. Here I will fast forward this. For displacement map, change map layer to transition 4. At start of the timeline, create keyframe for horizontal displacement, change displacement value to 70. Now at 20 frames, change displacement value to 0. At 1 second and 10 frames, create keyframe for vertical displacement, change displacement to 0. At end of the timeline, change displacement to 80. Search for CC lengths, add it to adjustment layer. Set size to 220. Let's add the text. For text layer, in Animate, select Tracking. Now add Property, Position. At 20 frames, create keyframe for position. At start of the timeline, change position value for y-axis as shown. Select keyframes, change keyframe assistant to easy ease. In range select a 1. Change start value to 30%. In advance, change randomize order to on. Slightly adjust random seed. At 1 second, create keyframe for tracking. At end of the timeline, change tracking amount to 25. Select keyframes. Change keyframe assistant to easy ease. For text layer, press P to bring up position. At 20 frames, create keyframe for position. At start of the timeline, adjust position value for the y-axis as shown. Select keyframes, change keyframe assistant to easy ease. Pre-compose text layer. In effects and preset, search for drop shadow. Add drop shadow. Set distance to 10. Set opacity to 80%. Perfect. Here our 4 slides are created. Similarly you can create as much as slides you want. Now let's add them to a single composition. Create a new composition, name it as Slideshow. Set time duration to 10 seconds. Now let's add created slides composition to timeline. Let's manually position them one after the other. Let's color correct our footages. Create a new adjustment layer. In Effects and Preset, search for Fast Blur. Add it to Adjustment Layer. At start of the timeline, create keyframe for blurriness, set blurriness to 20. Select Repeat Edge Pixels. Now at 1 second, change blurriness to 0. Press U to view created keyframes. Select Keyframes, change Keyframe Assistant to Easy Ease. In Effects and Preset, search for Vibrance. Add it to Adjustment Layer. Set Vibrance to 100. Set Saturation to -30. In Effects and Preset, search for Curves. Add it to Adjustment Layer. Adjust curves as shown. In Effects and Preset, search for Sharpen. Add it to Adjustment Layer. Set Sharpen amount to 30. Perfect. Now let's create a new solid layer. Name it as Frame. Now double-click on Rectangle 2 to create mask covering the solid layer. For Mask 1, at 1 second, create keyframe for Mask Path. Change Unit to % of source. Set top to 10%. Set bottom to 90%. Select Invert. Perfect. Now at start of the timeline, change mask shape. Set top to 50%. Set bottom to 50%. Perfect. Select Keyframes, change Keyframe Assistant to Easy Ease. Now let's see the preview. Perfect. Here our slideshow is created. Thank you guys for watching this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, then make sure to like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you.